Hi guys, I'm live. It's 2 p.m. here in Fiji, so it's time for Cuppa with Michelle. Grab your cup of coffee, a cup of tea, glass of water, and join me in a conversation that was a little bit hard, a little bit hard for me to do with my coach last night. And I just wanted to share that with you because I think a lot of you out there, like myself, struggle with being nice. What about that? Well, grab your cup of coffee. I am going to turn on the comment section. We are live on two platforms today. We are live on my Michelle T. Jones official Facebook page and on Michelle T. Jones YouTube channel. Grab your cuppa and let's get started. And guys, if you haven't done so, please do follow, subscribe on my platform so you don't miss a cuppa with Michelle. And if you find that the materials that I share with you are useful to others, please do share it. Okay? All right. So, what is all about? Yesterday, I did it's almost like a business personality assessment. So I did that a few days ago. It's called the UBL assessment. And when I first saw the results, the first set of results were amazing, like really positive. Talked about how I cared for people, how I'm really good at business and all that. So it was all good stuff in the beginning. The second page wasn't quite the same. And it was, I think, you know, let's be real. When we try and work so hard doing something and we want to do it right and we find out we're not quite doing it right, it kind of hurts our feelings, right? And I know that we all have to learn how to take criticism, especially if it can help us, but it doesn't mean that it's not gonna hurt or sting a little, right? Well, it stung. Okay, so anyway, what happened was that I was going through this assessment and it actually pointed out that I was being very nice. And being very nice meant two things. So the first side of being nice, we all know is great. I mean, everyone wants to be nice. Everyone strives to be nice. Kindness is something that, we all strive to have and to show others. And in business, when you're labeled as being nice, that means you've got high rapport, which is great, right? It says that I'm really good with customer service, which I really value. I value good customer service. I expect that of others, and I do that as well because we want to be able to give others the best that we can offer. And it says there, oh, I am wanting people to always feel comfortable. So I thought, great. But then it says, I want to avoid awkwardness. Now that makes sense, but it can also be a negative thing. And I'm going to share that shortly. It also says, I love giving people the benefit of the doubt. And I thought, oh, hey, awesome. My mom taught me right. She always said, give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, not wanting to pressure or push or disappoint can be good and can be bad. On paper, a lot of what being nice means actually sounds good, right? Until it isn't good. Because when I was reading the assessment further, it actually said that being nice also meant that I was delaying in my decisions because I wasn't following up firmly. I was afraid of being seen as too harsh or too pushy. It said that I was allowing things to slide. I was over giving. Now I remember when I was going through this, I remember um a few lives that I've done before where I've actually said, oh my gosh, I've learned through experience that I shouldn't be giving stuff all the time because when I give stuff, they're not appreciated. I actually am a firm believer that when people pay for something, they value it more than if you give it to them for free, because they know it's easy for them to get it again because you've given it for free once. And I've seen that in practice. I've seen that when I was giving, free herbs or free remedies to patients, to family members. And you're trying to do a good thing, which is helping others. When I had patients that I knew were struggling financially, I would help them out, but I also realized that more often than not, that help is not valued. And I see it now when I'm going through my assessment, or the how do you call that, the feedback of that assessment that I did, that hey, you know what, overgiving is not right. Overgiving actually hurts your business, hurts you, and also doesn't give you the respect that you deserve. Undercharging is a very big thing. And you know what? I know I'm not the only one here. So if this is you, put your hand up, or put a comment. Let me know, because I feel like this is a big thing, especially for alternative medicine practitioners. Like, in our hearts and in our minds, we want to be able to share this amazing knowledge, this amazing herbs and remedies that we have, that we feel like if we charge too much, then people won't be able to continually see us, especially in this day and age where, and in Australia, where going to an alternative medicine practitioner is now not rebatable. There's no Medicare rebate for that. There used to be a rebate. Am I saying Medicare? No, no, not Medicare, but private medical. So when you've got private medical cover, used to be, if you went to see a naturopath, you went to see a herbalist, and that's me, you actually get rebate for seeing them. And that's been removed for quite a while. So I really hope and pray that they put that back in. But because of that, we've also started thinking and going, okay, well, maybe I can charge less, right? But that actually hurts your business. That also doesn't necessarily convert to them appreciating your services. And that also usually means that because you're not making the money, you're not able to do your work and your service as effectively, and you can't do it for the long term, because now it's going to be affecting you financially, right? And it's very hard to see those things when you're doing them, and it's so painful when it's pointed out that what you're doing, which you think is helping others, is actually harming you, right? So going through the assessment, going through the feedback was a little bit painful. And anyway, so let me continue. Another negative of being nice is that we avoid hard conversations. We don't want to hurt people's feelings, so we want to be very careful. So we don't want to go and take care of hard conversations. And the other thing that it said is that saying okay, or saying it's okay, when it's actually not okay, it's something that we do as well. And again, all this feedback made me think about, okay, am I really doing this? What am I doing? And why am I doing them? Was quite eye opening, right? And I think one thing one thing that we need to know is assessments like this, although they may be painful and although we may not want to hear what we're doing wrong, is actually quite crucial, because this assessment made me realize I wasn't running a business. I have been running for the longest time what we call a feelings protection service. What about that? Do you like that phrase? Feelings protection service. So who among you is running a feelings protection service business? Because that wasn't what I wanted to run, but it seems like that's what I have been running, because I've always been worried about people. And being nice isn't always a great thing. So, anyway, what I want to learn from this, and what I want you guys to also learn from it, is that when you do things like this, you do start realizing what you can tweak to be effective in your business. It's not about just pointing out the mistakes and then saying, "Oh yeah, you're fucked," because you're not. Being nice is actually amazing. Being nice is something that a lot of people strive for. But being too nice can also equate to not being effective. So that's something that we need to learn. That's something that we need to realize, right? Especially if we are business owners, especially if we're striving to thrive in our business. Okay, kindness without boundaries is not good, because it's almost like you're creating a leakage. Your kindness is just going through them. It's not equating to more business. It's not equating to more income. It's not equating to longevity of your business, because we do our business and our service so that we can serve others, and we can serve others long, right? So it's not about the profit, it's about what that profit can give us. And a lot of the times, especially for alternative medicine practitioners, it is longevity of the business, right? So let that sink in. I was thinking to myself, you know what? People don't need me to be nice, to be endlessly and overly nice. They need me to be clear. They need me to be effective, right? So seeing it written, and I really strongly recommend that you do the test. I'm going to see if the test that I did is actually available to the public, and I'll link it below if it is. If it's not, then I'll try and see if I can link a public test that you guys can do, because I found that really, really such an eye opener, right? Because seeing it written in a report hits differently. Like, you know that, okay, oh my gosh, that is real. That is what I need to work on. Don't be ashamed of it. Although, my gosh, I did ask myself, should I be embarrassed that this is what I've been doing in my business? But those tests, those assessments are meant to not give you shame, but to give you awareness of what you need to work on. You know, it explains your pattern. We all have our patterns, and if we don't change the patterns, then it won't change how we are creating our future. If you're wanting to change the trajectory of your business, if you're wanting to have more profits in your business, if you want to have a more effective business, then you have to try and see where you can change things. And it's not always the product. A lot of the times it's you, it's me. So seeing it written actually helps our business. It also helps us, I guess, realize, where are we stalling in our business? Where are we exhausting ourselves? Because being very nice all the time is actually draining, right? So you don't have to be nice all the time. I think that's a really, really great lesson for me. So again, it's not about being harsh. It's about knowing when too much is too much, when enough nice is enough. You don't want to be aggressive, you don't want to be changing yourself too much. It's just about finding the balance um, that will give you the right impact to your business, and the right impact to your clients, to your peers, to your supervisors, to the people, to your staff, depending on where you're at in your life. If you're running a business, if you're working in an office environment, or even if it's just about you being pushed around to volunteer for too many things in your life, right? So too nice means that you get too exhausted, because too much is expected of you, and sometimes it may be unfair, right? So, lesson to learn for us too nice people is saying things clearly, earlier and not later is important. Us delaying giving our comments and feedback to someone may just delay and lengthen the amount of time that it takes for them to actually start creating whatever a good job, or them start changing their ways so that you are succeeding better in your projects, right? So letting them know straight away When you know there's something wrong, letting them know straight away. You're nice anyway, you know how to relate nicely, so relate nicely, but don't delay. The other one is make sure that you're following up clearly, that you're not, being aggressive with your follow-ups, but you're following up. You're not being embarrassed to follow up. Guys in, network marketing or in sales, when somebody has shown interest and you don't follow up, then you lose the sale, right? But sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you don't want to follow up because you're embarrassed to follow up and you're thinking already all these premeditated thoughts. Oh no, they're not interested. If they were interested, they'll call me back. And you now have created your own story in your head because of the delay that you've created. Where if you've actually just followed up, it might not be the case. They might have actually just forgotten how to get in touch with you. And oh my gosh, I've seen that firsthand where people ended up buying from somebody else because I did not follow up, right? And they forgotten how to get in touch with me. So all these things that I'm sharing with you guys have been based on my personal experience as well. And as I said, that was my UBL assessment and something that I am ingraining in my head so that I am more aware of what I need to do. It's not about me changing drastically and being nasty. Definitely not that. Being nice is great. I want to stay nice, but too nice maybe is something that I should be watching out for, right? um Making decisions faster, not having to be emotional about decision making. That's something that I'm learning right now. We've got a real estate business, and when we are looking at designs and uh, you know uh, the information about the build that we're creating, sometimes we get caught up in saying, oh, but I like it this way and that way. And then you realize, hold on, this is not your house. You're selling this house. So learning that I don't need to make decisions based on emotions, and learning that in business, I need to put my business cap on so that decision making is based on the business and not based on emotion, will allow me to actually make my decisions faster. Making decisions without trying to take into account, oh my gosh, what will he say and she say? What will they think of me? And just making it about what will it mean with your business? How will that decision impact your business? Is it a good decision? If it's a good decision, then go for it, right? And I think the other thing is, um, when if you know that you're being too nice, if you're in my category, being okay with short-term discomfort is something that we need to start learning, because when you are so used to helping and giving, and then you have to remind yourself, hold on, I can't just keep giving. I need to actually put a boundary in a you know or remind myself that giving isn't necessarily maintaining professionalism and making them follow the protocol, or making them take the herbs or whatever it is, right? So understanding that that's the case can also help you deal with that short-term discomfort of doing something that you're not used to doing, which is not helping, right? So sometimes helping too much is bad, being too nice is bad, right? And then just trusting that clarity is actually kinder. Be clear about who you are, be clear about what you want, be clear about the outcome that you want as well. And doing that and taking into account all the suggestions on the assessment, on the how do you call, the feedback from the assessment, will actually make you realize that you can change these little things. You can tweak a little bit. Again, no drastic changes needed, really. And once you make that tweak, then it changes how you run your business, and it changes the future of your business, right? If you're too nice in business, you're not weak. Remember that. If you're if you're too nice, it just means that you're a great person, but you just need to tweak it just a little bit, tone it down just a little bit, so that you're not being taken advantage of. You are making good decisions. timely decisions and decisions that can actually help with the longevity of your business and the success of your business, right? I hope you guys found that enlightening, because oh my gosh, that assessment, the report, the feedback I got was quite an eye opener, as I shared. And if you get the chance, do that assessment, because oh my gosh, so worth it, so worth it. And yeah, I mean, I think my question to all of you is, aside from the fact that who among you watching right now is on the too nice category, is how, did you have something um or a characteristic that you thought was amazing that actually you later realized hindered your success? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one. Don't lie. I'm sure others are there and then, affected by all this as well. And I'm also wondering if any of you tried to change it drastically and realized that that was not the way to do it. All right. So curious to find out, because when I was being shared um, that assessment, the feedback rather, that was one of the comments, that in some cases people have tried to do a drastic change and found out that it actually hurt their business even more, and I guess hurt their relationships as well, right? Because a lot of the thing that I love about business is business teaches us what our weaknesses are, usually quicker and faster than our family would, right? Because in some cases your family just go, oh, he's just crazy, or he's just blah blah. And they don't really tell you. And if they're also benefiting uh with that flaw, like in this case, the too nice characteristic, then that's not something that naturally a family member would correct, right? I want my kids to be nice. I want them to be very nice, right? So it's not something that you would correct. But then seeing it impact a business is a different thing, right? So usually you do want to hear from others that are assessing you for the way you're running a business. And again, this one is about how that is a flaw in my running of my business. My banner. What's my banner? Oh, well, yes, still, that's fine. I forgot to remove the banner, but that's okay. Join my coaching group, guys. Thanks, Connie, for reminding me. Um, join my coaching group. Don't miss any of the courses that we offer. We do have um, herbalism posts. We have iridology information in there, even some iridology workshops. We've got some cider vinegar making workshops in that coaching group that you can access for free. Yes, they are all free. And you do get announcements on paid workshops ahead of everyone else, which is, I think, a plus, right? And in some cases, when I need to just do a recording and have an audience, you actually also get access to parts of my paid courses by just being there in the group. So I think it's a win-win. Join the group, let's share experiences, and I hope you enjoy the group. Actually, have I answered all the questions? Anyway, guys, if I have not seen your questions, I will be looking at our YouTube and our Facebook page. I do that towards the end of the day, and then we'll be getting back to you shortly. Thank you for joining me for Cuppa with Michelle, and I hope that was an eye opener. Okay, let's not make an amazing let's not make an amazing characteristic actually impact our business. Let's not you know let's not create businesses that are actually mm, you know catering more to others, their feelings, rather than running a business. Let's not run a what I call feelings protection service business, right? I love that. Feelings protection service business. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to have a profitable business that actually runs on kindness, but not too much kindness. Because we don't want to be taken advantage of. Okay? All right, guys. Enjoy your cup of coffee. I'm going to be finishing mine and getting back to work. Have a great, great morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you're joining me from. Bye.